Hi, so I apologize I'm late on posting this video. Um, so the first thing that I want to do is read the inspirational message that I want all of you to receive. If you fail, never give up because FAIL means first attempt in learning. End is not the end. In fact, END means effort never dies. And if you get no as an answer, remember NO means next opportunity. So let's be positive. APJ Abdul Kalam. Love that saying. All right, so let's go up here to announcements or to discussions in questions and announcements. And I have a few things that I've posted. The first thing is that there is this video on Cascade updated related fields, and you can watch that. I think that's helpful. There are a number of people that had trouble with that on the table relationships essay. And just as a note, if you got a grade that was lower than what you wanted, feel free to redo it. Okay. And then here's a video on normalization that might be helpful to you. And then finally, this is about the process of handing in your final project. Okay. And so I created this silly little document. And so it's supposed to just try to explain the process of handing in your final project and the rubric database with it. And it's more complicated to explain than it really is complicated. So that makes it trickier. Okay, so here I made this. It says, hello, welcome to the show. I'm going to show you how to receive feedback from Leslie about your final project. Some students might think this process is complicated, but it's really not that bad. So let's get started. Okay, so let's pretend you're the student. So here's a picture of the student. Let's pretend the ball she's holding is your final project along with your completed rubric database. What do I mean by completed? I mean that you have downloaded the rubric database for the first time and filled out each rubric point in the table structure and table relationship section for your first version of your final project. Okay? So, what happens next? Here's a picture of your instructor. Not really, but we'll pretend. So you have all the players in our story. You, the ball, the instructor. Okay? Let's say that you've completed your first draft of your final project. You have reviewed each rubric point in the table structure and the table relationship section of the rubric database and attempted to complete each requirement in these sections. You provide a rating for each of these rubric points as well as any information that you would like to convey to me, your instructor. Okay, and so you only need to do it for if the when due field says draft version and completed version. Okay, you're now ready to hand in your first draft of your final project. So what do? You pass the ball. Your final project draft version of your final project plus your completed rubric database to me by placing them in the FP tables draft folder. Here's you. Here's your final project draft version and your complete rubric database, and it's going towards the assignment folder. Okay, so it's in the assignment folder, which passes it to me, your instructor. What happens next? Leslie takes your ball and places feedback in the rubric database you submitted, right? And then puts it back in the feedback section of the FP Tables Draft Assignment folder. Okay. You can go to the FP Tables Draft Assignment folder and download the rubric database where Leslie put the feedback. So then you can read her feedback. Okay. What happens next? You make adjustments to your final project according to the feedback you find in the rubric database. And then you do it all again. This time you will do it for the next version of your final project, FP Forms Draft. The only thing that's different is that this time you will use the rubric database that was placed in the FP Tables Draft Assignment folder. So there you are. And your FP Forms Draft version plus a completed rubric database that you got from FP Tables Draft feedback, and then you'll put it. Let's see. I'm getting confused. Okay, and then you put it in the assignment folder. Yep. So that's what you do, and you put it in for forms. So basically, you've done an update to your final project, and now you're putting it into the Forms Draft Assignment folder along with an updated rubric database. Okay? It passes it to me, your instructor. Oops. What happens next? Leslie takes your FP Forms Draft version plus completed rubric database and places feedback in the rubric database you submitted and basically grades it. She places it back in the feedback section of that Forms Draft Assignment folder, and you can go and pick it up and download it. Download the rubric database to see my feedback. Okay, do you see a pattern? Can you guess what happens next? Yep, you guessed it. The same routine happens with the FP report draft version. You make updates and put reports in your final project. You fill out the rubric database with for the report section, and then you put it back into this Dropbox or assignment folder. And I'll pull it out, I'll grade it, I'll put it back, you can pick it up, and then make adjustments, and then go through your entire final project and update the entire all the rubric points and make sure that everything is filled out correctly, and then you put it back into the final project completed versions assignment folder at the end of the semester, and you're done. And I give you feedback. I'll put the feedback back in the Dropbox, and you can pull it out and see how you did. Any questions? Post on the discussion board. Okay. Okay, so finally, what I want to say is that what the things are that are coming up that you should be working on. First of all, make sure that you're working on your data collection, and not this coming week, but the following week. Your first version of your tables or your final project will be due, so just keep that in mind. You want to read Module 5, and here's a practice training if that's helpful to you. SAM Quiz 3 is due. You want to post what you have, your final project here, okay? Hopefully you've got some tables going, and then students can give you feedback. Here also normalization is due, and please do a survey of the rubric database, and here's a weekly update. So just it's a heavy week, so hopefully you've been working in previous weeks, doing what you've been warned up here to get done because it was upcoming, and so that you're doing okay. All right, if you have any questions, once again, don't forget, post in here in questions and announcements. I don't get very many questions. Sometimes I think I should give extra credit for posting, but I haven't gotten to that point. But anyway, okay, so go forth and good success. Thanks.